This video is just thinking about creating a query where we're using two tables. So in our Access database that we've got here, we've got the two tables, properties that you're familiar with, and we've also got owners. So these owners are linked to the properties via their ID, as we said, using a foreign key mechanism. So it would be good sometimes to need to write a query that takes data from both tables. So here's a query, an SQL query that would do this. So I'm selecting the reference number from properties, and if there's any doubt about whether two of the fields might have a similar name or the same name in both tables, then you can use this dot notation here where it says properties being the table name, dot reference number being the field name, county name, tell no from properties and owners. So this is where we're choosing both tables. So in the from statement, we're just using the two tables, just separated by a comma. So then I'm finding properties where pets are yes, so where pets are allowed, and the type of property is a cottage. And finally, I've linked the two tables by when the owner's ID is the equivalent to the properties.owner ID. So that's both of the items linked in the two tables. So I've got the owner and the property are actually linked by doing that. If you don't put that in, you're going to find that you'll get the full Cartesian product of both tables. So that's everything in properties times everything in owner, where these two things are correct. So we'll perhaps illustrate that in a moment. So I've put that into Access, so the same query, and if we run the query, we see that we find that these are the properties that are owned that have pets yes and cottage yes. So they're ordered up here via the name of the owner. So fairly straightforward, I hope. All we've done is selected the fields that we want to look at from both tables, and I've just referenced one of them with a properties dot. You don't have to unless the names are the same. So if two tables have got the same field name, like name, you have to do the reference, otherwise you don't need to. So the from is from both of the tables where the information is coming from, and then my where clause again is where pets is yes, types is cottage, and then this bit where I've joined the tables, owners.id equals properties.owner.id. So we're linking those two tables together, and I've just ordered it by name. So if I didn't do this bit where we're linking the owners, I would get a Cartesian product, as I say. So if I look at this query, it actually looks the same, apart from I haven't got that linking condition in where, and you can now see that there's every combination of those properties and names in the database has been put into the results. So to see that just as a Cartesian product, this is the Cartesian product of the two tables. So all this looks like in SQL is select star from properties and owners. So that joins the tables together in a Cartesian way. So it's every field times every other field. So you can see that reference number 5 is in there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, because it's basically timesing it every time that it's got something different in the other table. So it's doing that for every property. So you can see that we end up with a very large table of all of the data joined together, which is called the Cartesian product. So what we've looked at here is a query where we've got two tables linked together, where we've got some standard conditions and we've got the linking condition, the owner's ID equals properties.owner ID. So owner's ID is a primary key and properties.owner ID is the foreign key in the other table. So anytime you're doing a query like this, you need to find the way of linking those tables together so that you just don't end up with a load of data that you're not looking for. So that's creating an SQL query for two tables.